The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Markets Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN Friday morning, just after 9 a.m. Eastern time. Markets kicking things off in negative territory. We got a lot of action to kick things off for the final trading day of the week. Options expiration today. We got the S&Ps right now, negative by 37 points. That's about 0.9% in the red, trading at 42.49. NASDAQ 100, you're negative by 1.1%, 13,376. The Dow's negative by 0.6%. The Russell, negative by 1.1% as well. Bitcoin, you talk about some volatility overnight in the den. They were chatting about it, even in the den. I think the reference was in 1 second it traded down. Let's see if we can get what it did on a minute basis. Yeah, look at that action, folks. Within the span of 1 to 2 minutes, you had Bitcoin last night crashing $1,200 with volume in there. On Bitcoin, you back things out. Let's put it on a 15-minute. You see the acceleration, though. Bitcoin down about $2,000. We got Ethereum right now down about $175. Ethereum's down 9%. Bitcoin's down about 8%. Ethereum, it has had quite a run recently, more than doubling in price from $994 to $2,000. For some context here, Bitcoin, right, nowhere near the acceleration that it had. I mean, check it out. Bitcoin June 30th was at 18,000. Ethereum was at $994. You doubled by August 15th. You back things up to Bitcoin, and you're talking about a price level that made it to $25,000 from $18,000. You would have had to have been at $36,000 to have the action that you had on Ethereum. Nonetheless, today they're both back about 8 to 9%. We get some dollar strength. Dollar jumping around today. That leading, among many other things, gold contract down about $1 to $17.70, and we jump to notes and bonds. And there's some action for you, even with a little bit of a bounce right now. You get the 10-year, negative almost 15 ticks, and that's from a bounce of 118.06 just in the last hour or so. We're trading right now 118.12. The 30-year down a full point and 17 ticks right now. Action, to say the least. And you want to talk about action, folks? You think crypto has some action. So much for getting the rug pulled out of the meme stocks. Not sure what you were doing holding through yesterday after the news came out that Cohen had sold. Yeah, it's tough if you're in this market anywhere up in the euphoric area of $25. But boy, I was talking about on my program yesterday, kind of surprised that it even held up as well as it did. Now, zooming in just on yesterday's action, I was doing the show from when? Yeah, about 9 o'clock till 10. I mean, look at that. You were above 18 the whole time. The whole day you chopped around between 60 and 18. They closed the market, and everything goes kaputs in that market. And we'll start that off with the headline. So Cohen makes millions on Bed Bath & Beyond as meme traders recoil. The bummer of this is so he's a billionaire. He pockets $70 million. That's a 56% gain in the span of 7 months. The retail traders who poured millions of dollars into the struggling retailer stock, on the other hand, and they should say, following Cohen's lead, maybe just starting to feel the pain, especially if they relate to the trade. All right? So they paid and this is Cohen, paid $121 million between mid-January and early March, okay? Now this thing's had its meme run and then some, okay? Backing things up. Where are we looking? January, okay, to March. So you were hovering at around $15, all right? He had a huge loss position, folks. That wasn't his plan, all right? He's not a fool. He took advantage of the euphoric rise to the highs they had back early in April. Now backing this thing up even further, okay, so you see this is where he got into the equity, all right? He was probably looking at a chart just like this, among many other things, of course, okay, but he's a trader, folks, and the bummer of it is he's worth millions. He pockets $70 million, which is really inconsequential to the wealth that he has. Nothing's inconsequential, to put it that way. But it's kind of tough when you're doing it on the heels of retail traders where the money probably means a lot more to them, and now they're the one kind of left holding the bag for all of his profits in that equity. And nonetheless, Bed Bath & Beyond, they're just in big trouble, and they move on from there. Retailers, they bought $58.2 million of the stock on Wednesday, a day after snapping up $73.2 million over the 3 weeks, $229 million. And Mr. Cohen, he's going to pocket about $70 million of that and move on to his next trade of meme stocks. It's got to be pretty remarkable when you can be the person that's leading this market. As in, Elon has that phenomenon going on, right? He amasses a position, announces it, and it immediately goes up. Nobody gets out. He sells that position, then it goes down. Same thing going on there, man. Be careful of these, because I imagine $11 might not be the end, folks. This thing started at $5, right? Let's back things up here. $4.38, and you were trading as recently as 3 weeks ago, okay? That's what they were talking about 3 weeks ago. That's how long investors have been pumping $229 million. But, boy, you really talk about it, man. What do they say? That's Thursday's action. That's Wednesday and Tuesday. So the 2 days that they pumped all that money in were Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, you did $395 million. The next day, you did 261 million shares traded. Okay, and today, you're going to open at $11, far below any of that action. Yeah. Let's see how some of the others. GameStop this morning, down a few dollars. Let's jump around to some of the equities with earnings this morning. We jumped to Foot Locker. Strong numbers for Foot Locker, man. You're charging higher by $8. That's quite a pop. What is that? 25% almost? 9? You get a what? $8 pop? Yeah, exactly. 25%. Foot Locker higher on their numbers. We jump over to John Deere. A little bit of a different story. Lower from 367 to about 352 this morning so far. We jump to some of the other equities as we kick off the program. Tesla trading a little lower with this market below 900 at 895. We jump to some of the FANG stocks. Amazon lower as well. You drop a couple bucks overnight, down about $2 to 140. Apple, you know, it's interesting, folks. Anecdotally, right? My experience, anecdotally, I called my provider yesterday to find out where I thought I was on my phone purchase, if I was eligible for promotions in preparation of the iPhone 14 coming out. Now, I had purchased my phone, I found out November of 2000. I'm on a 2-year payment plan to purchase the phone. I'll own it in about 3 months. And what's cool was, the last time I did this, I got a pretty nice upgrade, as in it was a nice upgrade style. The iPhone 12 is a 5G. I had held on from, I think, a 7 or an 8. I was also having a child within a couple months, needed some increased space on my phone, as well as a better camera. Got that. Now, I'm 2 years later, and I'm coming right into a cycle yet again, right? The 14 is going to come out. If it wasn't coming out right now, maybe I wouldn't, but maybe I do, because I'm about to pay for the phone in 3 months. The iPhone 14 should be out. Nonetheless, you see how the cycle goes, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Pretty interesting that I actually made the phone call yesterday to find out where I was in the cycle, and there I am. So I got a few months, and I'll probably be purchasing myself an iPhone 14. The iPhone 12 working great, but boy, I got a lot of pictures on there. I use it often. The screen's got a little bit of a problem right now. I'd have to get that fixed as well, and I'll own the phone at that point. So I can always trade it in and get some type of rebate back for that used phone. That's going to get hurt by a little bit of a crack on the phone. But it is what it is. But that's probably part of the reason, folks, that you got Apple trading at 174 from 129. Remarkable the amount of revenue that they take on. I was thinking about it, right? I don't need to, but it's almost a payment I'm comfortable with forever. And, you know, I'm going to pay for the phone for 2 years, then I'm going to get a new one. Genius how they built that business plan through the phone company. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We jump over to some other equities with action. You got Wayfair down about $6. Man, this equity, right? You check out the weekly. I mean, I guess you can call that a bounce from $50 up to just this week. What were we pushing? 76? Is that correct? Probably so. 76 on Tuesday. You lose $10, 15%, just like that, back to 66. And the news out of Wayfair, cutting 5% of the global workforce in an overhaul. Sometimes that lift gives the stock a lift, right? But not a company like Wayfair that should be growing. They're going to cut about 870 employees to save costs amid a slowing economy. 5% of the global workforce, 10% of the corporate team, substantial reductions in third-party labor costs. So they're cutting costs. Sometimes that may be necessary. In May, they froze hiring for 90 days, okay? They have 17,000 full-time employees. Remarkable when I see that, man. I mean, they're quite a company, all right? But 17,000 employees did not realize that they were at that level of employment. That is a lot of cost, folks, in a big way. I'm trying to see what their market cap is right now. Is it going to load for me? Come on. It's not telling me how many shares are outstanding, but nonetheless. Jumping back to Bed Bath & Beyond. Hopefully this one's updating. So you're talking about a company that's at 1168 down from 1855. And this is the bummer of it, folks, okay? To finish that thought that I had, the company's worth less than $1 billion. You just basically had a billionaire come in here, suck out $70 million for himself, and leave the company worse off, which is a dramatic amount of cash when you look at the market cap of that company, right? You know, that is how the stock market works, man. And I'm not saying anything against it. You just should be aware of it because he's kind of been this leader of the retail trader meme. And meanwhile, this trade in particular, he went in there for a trade. He got the army behind him, and then he sold right into the army and left them holding the bag. And hopefully they realize that the next time that he's trying to lead them into some type of meme stock mania where he's going to take over the board and save the day from a company that's pretty much saddled with debt where they can't recover and probably go in BK because their business model doesn't compete in an internet world of e-commerce in the year 2022. All right, we digress a bit. Let's jump to what else we have going on. Amazon football. Preseason is back, and Thursday night, Amazon, they're going to kick things off next Thursday night. So 6 nights from now with Thursday Night Football. They paid $1 billion for the rights. This article here, March of last year. They finalized an 11-year media rights deal. The NFL did. Amazon getting exclusive Thursday night rights. Now, those deals, what did they get in this? I remember it was something crazy, the amount of money that they pulled in. $100 billion. Yeah, $100 billion. And they divvied it out to everybody, man. Viacom, Fox, and Comcast, right? Disney, which owns ESPN and ABC, they're in there as well. And Amazon getting Thursday night. Now, back to the article of today talking about it. So this kicks off with preseason next Thursday. And it's going to be interesting to see the kind of numbers that they get. They just paid Nielsen to rate their performance because they're probably so confident that they're going to do well. They're going to have extra features like X-ray stats. Now, one thing that was interesting here, they haven't finalized that deal with Roku yet. Pretty interesting, right? Amazon Fire TV is probably competing with Roku. It's going to be interesting if Amazon starts offering NFL football, and you actually have a preferred experience if you have an Amazon Fire TV versus a Roku box. I have a lot of Roku boxes in my house. I just bought a Fire TV during Prime Day for the kids' playroom, so it is interesting how they're probably going to try and use that competitive advantage there. Now, they did just sign a deal with Nielsen this week to measure those telecasts, so they're looking for big numbers. 80 million U.S. subscribers have watched a Prime Video at least once in the last year. Now, they get so many Prime members for obvious reasons beyond streaming, okay? But the numbers are pretty staggering when you compare it to the streaming behemoths. For instance, Netflix ended the second quarter with 73.3 million paid monthly subscribers. So this is just in the U.S. we're talking about, okay? Amazon, really a North American company. They do have international exposure, but a big part of it. 80 million U.S. subscribers for Amazon have watched something in the last year. And it's interesting, right? Because it's probably pretty similar to my experience, maybe yours out there, where you don't watch Prime a lot. I do have Netflix. I got HBO. We probably got too many in the house. With 3 kids, 2 adults, everybody's got a little bit of what they like in terms of streaming. But nonetheless, you pay for those, but occasionally you sneak into Prime because it's got a movie, or maybe you pay for one of those the premium movies that are just released in Prime. 80 million. Netflix has 73.3. That's more people than Netflix has subscribed in the whole country. Disney, 44.5. Disney's been growing Hotstar in India in a big way. So this kicks off with preseason next Thursday, and they're going to shove it right in front of your face. To push viewers toward the broadcast, they're going to automatically start playing them when you log into the game, to Amazon.com, okay? How many people do they get on Amazon.com alone, where those games are just going to be at the top of their website? The games are going to be featured prominently on the Prime Video home screen so that everybody knows they're taking place. You can watch them, record them, start them from beginning of the broadcast. If you don't want to worry about it, you have the option of recording every single game. I'm going to do it. I'm going to record every single game, because why not? Because maybe I don't catch the start of it. Maybe I jump into a Thursday night game at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and maybe I can fast forward. Football, there's a lot of downtime in football. Pretty cool where technology is going. Then they're going to add some stats onto it as well. They paid $1 billion for it, and that kicks off this coming Thursday for a preseason game, but then they have a great first matchup. September 15th, they start in the regular season on September 15th in week 2, and they got the Chargers, and they got the Chiefs. The Chiefs, the big one there, man. Mahomes, I'm sure that's how Amazon loves to kick that thing off. But the landscape is changing, man, and it seems like, they probably got pretty good value, because what are people going to say? Oh, Prime's got live football, man. They got live football. Yeah, but they only paid $1 billion compared to what some of the other companies are paying, but it's their first shift into some of that live programming in the U.S., and there's nothing like NFL football, man, in the U.S. So it's interesting. Landscape's changing in a big way. And as this market catches a little bit of a lift off the lows, Amazon, we jump around to some of the streamers, Disney shares, off a bit to 121.34. We jump over to Netflix, 241. We take a longer-term chart. Netflix shares off the low, 162. Still quite the pullback for Netflix. We take a longer-term look at Disney. Pretty similar action. You're catching a bounce. And it's quite a bounce, and in the long term, they will be all right. The one thing, folks, as you keep seeing the numbers from Disney to keep in mind, is that the average revenue per user internationally, because they're growing so big in India, and I am a big Disney bull, okay? Their parks are going to be packed for like 5 years. No one's going to be having empty seats in Disney for 4 or 5 years, man, as people play catch up, right? I got at least a trip that we got to make with the family as my son approaches 1.5, 2 years old, 3 years old. Maybe he can remember that trip, enjoy it a little bit older. And we got a 5-year-old in the house who hasn't been there as well. Because right when he came of age to maybe 2 or 3 years old, where he might, really be able to enjoy it, possibly remember it, COVID hit. So there's a lot of catch up of 2 to 3 years, man. That's going to be in there. So I'm a big time bull. But some of those numbers, when they come out with them, man, those Hotstar numbers, people paying like 60 cents a month, something like that in India for Disney Plus, and they all add up to those numbers. Nonetheless, stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back for the open.
Of booming inflation, where your purchasing power is eroded, there's no better place to protect your hard-earned money than in gold. Vista Gold's flagship asset is the Mount Todd Gold Project in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is Australia's largest undeveloped gold project. We are talking a world-class gold project in a Tier 1 mining district. This is a large-scale, low-cost project with significant existing infrastructure in a politically safe and friendly mining jurisdiction. Vista Gold just completed the Mount Todd feasibility study, which resulted in a 7 million ounce gold reserve and a 16-year mine life. All of this, combined with the approvals of all major operational as well as environmental permits. This distinguishes Mount Todd as an attractive, de-risk partner, ready development stage gold project. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol VGZ.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open. You're looking at an S&P right now, negative by 26 points. We have the NASDAQ 100 negative by 125. I got a chart of Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond. That must drive them crazy, man. My dad made that error yesterday, BBY or BBY, and you happen to be next to the stock that's just a mean phenomenon. Now, there's your Best Buy chart. You talk about a little bit of retracement, man, from 141 down to 68 bucks. We've popped a bit, but back to the meme stock of the day. Bed Bath & Beyond down 35% at $11.90. Now, if you're watching the program, okay, on Wednesday, Fast Market set up a trade in Bed Bath & Beyond, and taking a look at a 15-minute chart, this was when Wednesday you had the stock trading at about $25, okay? And the trade they set up was selling a 25 to 18, buying a put spread from 25 to 18, thinking it was going to go down from 25 to 18, but then selling a put spread as well, so selling 2 of the 18 puts and buying an 11 put, basically selling somebody else the right to profit if it goes from 18 to 11. What that looks like on a chart with a profit-loss basis is something like this, where you want the stock to expire at $18 because you make money as it goes from 25 to 18, but then you actually start losing some of your value as it goes from 18 to 11. The beauty of this trade is it's capped at about a loss of $1.40, and then your max profit is the $7 price range that you've set up minus what you paid. So in this instance, you're talking about a profit of about $575. All right, the quick story of this, because we've been following it, is that, man, what a lesson in how options trade when you're making multi-leg trades, when you're dealing with the crazy volatility that is priced in for some of these meme stocks, okay? Whether the equity was trading at 25, whether it was trading at 18, or now today is trading at 11, absolutely remarkable how this thing has traded, though, considering the price strikes that they did choose, right? They went from 25, they chose 18 as their point yesterday, they chose 11 as their point where they'll cut their losses and max their loss to max out that, define their risk, okay? But what's happened, folks, is that this thing has such a duration going out to September 16th that the market is not comfortable paying you out at all, okay? Because why? Because it's saying, hey, we got so much volatility left in the month, okay, that there's still a decent chance this thing closes almost anywhere. We're not going to pay you $600. It's going to close on $18 on the dime. No way, no how right now. Because we got almost a full month, right? So really, when you're looking at these trades, Kevin, the team at TD Ameritrade Network, they mentioned it yesterday, all right? You really got to look at that price level being achieved. The value comes in very close to expiration. Because as long as you have a lot of time left, the time premium that is in all of these options, okay, are not going to give you the type of movement you may expect, especially when you're dealing with something like a meme stock. The beauty of this trade is if you wanted to trade Bed Bath & Beyond and go short, outstanding way to do it. You're going to have to wait a month to find out whether you're going to make some money. And of course, there's trades you could have set up with smaller time premiums, right? Less time that it would have went out. Okay, you would have gotten less bang for your buck if you had done that, because there would have been less time premium that you would have been able to achieve there, which is why you're getting the risk reward you're getting on an equity butterfly spread like this. But boy, would have been frustrating yesterday, right? If you made that trade on Wednesday, you woke up yesterday saying, man, this stock just traded from 25 to 18. I set up a butterfly spread. 18's my max profit. I'm going to take my profit off the table, and it's got to be decent. No, it doesn't have to be decent, folks. This is why if you're in option market or even in equity markets, okay, understanding options, watch the program at 12 o'clock every day. They did an outstanding job setting up that trade and walking you through how it works. That's why hypotheticals are great, folks. Why would you be in there risking your money when you can learn that lesson for watching the program and trading on a demo account, or even just trading and watching the trades, setting them up yourself? Okay, back to talking a little bit of streaming, because there was a question in the Tigers Den of who got the NFL Sunday ticket. Do not think that that one is settled yet. I was Googling it, and I had talked about this previously. So DirecTV has had that for, I think, 27 years or 29 years, something crazy. They charge $300 for that, okay? And whoever wins the bidding rights for direct ticket, which is, boy, like the carte blanche, you get every game out there, you're still going to have to charge $300. That's kind of the kicker that probably makes it less attractive, right? Because you're not going to pull a huge audience of people that want to watch every out-of-market game for $300, which is pretty expensive to say the least, right? And taking a look at some of it, so in Google and articles, you got Amazon, Apple, Disney, all of them bidding. And then just recently, I got an article out there that Google has entered the mix. And that article as recently as July 24th that Google enters the mix. They don't have a date yet for deciding when they're going to decide who, but DirecTV owns it through the 2022 season. So I believe those bids are in. Google, latest company to make a bid. NFL kind of still evaluating it. But whoever wins that, they'd have to sell it at $300, I believe. That might be a month, or is it just for the season? If anybody knows, is that $300 a month or for the season? It's a lot of money no matter what. Apple seems like it could be in the lead, most likely to purchase the NFL rights for potentially as much as $3 billion, I'm reading in one article. Taking a look. Apple shares, we open. Let's see how we're opening. Up a bit from the open, but still negative by about 0.6. Let's jump over to Amazon, down about 1.1% right now. See how some of the stocks with earnings. John Deere, they get back some of the loss, but still down about 3.5%. Foot Locker, look at that. Up 23%, man. There's some decent numbers for you on Foot Locker. And jumping down to some of what they had, you had Deere, earned $6.16 a share, below what the market was looking for. It successfully implemented price hikes, but still couldn't get the earnings they were looking for. And Foot Locker. So they beat analyst forecasts. They also announced a CEO transition. So they got a new CEO coming in. Nonetheless, the forecast is what's rocking them higher. We trade to Ross. Better than expected earnings for the latest quarter, but revenue below forecast, weaker than expected full-year outlook. That's probably not good. Yeah, ROST. They catch a lift. Not bad, man. Always interesting. So better than expected earnings. Kind of holding out, man. If you can make money, the forecast is going to matter. It looks like rewarding them as well. AMAT out with their numbers. Is that right? Yeah. AMAT a little bit lower to 105.81 so far this morning. What else we got moving? Home Depot. A new $15 billion share repurchase program. What did they just announce this? Didn't they come out with their numbers earlier in the week? Home Depot holding up pretty well after their strong numbers at about 325. You're positive yet again. We jump to Lowe's, a little bit red with the market right now. Walmart holding well as well at 138. Target, a little bit of a flip side, right, from their numbers. Target basically back to where you started off the week at 170. 168 so far. We jump over to commodities. Crude catches a little bit of a lift since we've been on the program, man. 8 o'clock, you were at $88. You're back above 90 on the crude contract. And yeah, we'll jump around a little bit. We'll take a look at some of the Forex action and some of the commodity action when we get back. You get the gold contract down $2, 1768. S&P's down 29. It is options expiration. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in negative territory. Options expiration Friday. S&P's right now negative by 35 points. That's about 0.8% in the red. You jump over to the NASDAQ 100. You're negative by 1.25%. We jump over to some of the FANG stocks. Amazon, a little bit lower by 1.7%. Apple off 0.6%. Microsoft right now off about 0.9%. Google shares off 1.6%. We jump over to some of those currencies. So, Euro US dollar. We're testing those lows, man. Parity coming back at you. Been quite a pullback just over the last few days. The dollar index alone, folks, up about 50 basis points. We're sitting right at about 108, 107.97. That's up from 105 just last week, right? And you've seen it happen in some of the different currencies. Euro, US dollar, almost right back to parity. My dad was talking about last night, man. You're going to Europe. You're going to the Amalfi Coast. I have not seen the Amalfi Coast. I might have to go see the Amalfi Coast sometime over the next few years. Go get some euros potentially, folks, because risk-reward-wise, yeah, there's a very real chance this thing's going to 90. I was talking to our man Teddy Kegstad on Wednesday. Talk to him every 40 past the hour, 9:40 a.m. Eastern time every Wednesday, folks. If you're into Forex, great segment. We also upload that segment on our YouTube page. Just search for TFNN, find the videos tab, all of our videos there. Maybe 90 cents is in play, but boy, you check out this trend line. I'm going to extend that line to the right. If we're on our way to the downside, and we have bounced around, folks, since almost the beginning of the year, January 31st, this trend in the dollar, Euro US dollar at least, started, okay? 154. You hit the bottom portion just of this trend line. By the time you go out time-wise, you may be talking 96, maybe you're talking 95. We're sitting at 1 right now. Europe is in trouble, to say the least. Yeah, and they may have some energy issues going on in Europe as well. But guess what, man? The dollar, folks, for some reference here, right? It's not easy to forget. But my goodness, man. Almost a year ago, we were sitting at 122. Crazy. Back it up even further, right? You were at 140 in 2014. You were at 125 twice, as recently as almost a year ago. And crazy how you do. Forgive me. Someone's calling my phone. Okay, so that's Euro US dollar. We were talking to Teddy as well. He was bringing up pound US dollar, Euro US dollar. You take a look, man. There may be some divergence here. But, boy, you're talking about some moves as they both trade somewhat. Anytime you're getting just a dollar strength across the board that we're getting, folks, pound US dollar back to 118 right now. We jump over to the all-important dollar yen. How about it, man? Check this out, right? climbing right back towards those highs of 139, man. We bounce off those lows of about 132 and change, and that's going to weigh on the gold contract, folks. You jump over to the gold contract as the yen has risen to 136. You've had a strengthening dollar, and you've had the gold contract pulling back. We were just at 18.20, you're at 17.65. So, you know, the bright side, if you're a gold bull, is that you take a look at that dollar yen. I mean, maybe we're inching towards the highs, which we're almost at right now in that yen, because it's been a one-way shot, man, from 115 to 140, and we're approaching that level again in the yen at 136.85. And back to these markets as we drift a little bit lower right now. S&P's off about 40, NASDAQ 100 off about 184. Jumping back to what else we have going on. How about mortgages? Where are we? Pulling up the article. Mortgage rates, that is, 5.13% from 5.22. 0.1%. Mortgage rates are down. Now, you can see that it's going to take some time, though, to get back to anything that we're used to, right? We've seen the drop in yields, the 30-year dropping to 5.13 from 5.22, but still a far cry from where we need to go in this market to where your buying power relates anything close to what we had previous. At the current 30-year average, a borrower with $300,000 would pay $1,634 a month, roughly $352 more than at the end of last year. Not at the last year of this time. At the end of last year, you were paying $1,300 a month for a $300,000 mortgage. Now you're paying $1,634. Folks, that's almost $4,000 after tax income every year that you're paying for the same exact house. So, on Mortgage News Daily, they update them more frequently, I guess. 30-year loan hit 5.48. There's going to be divergence, but nonetheless, that's the number I want to get to, man. And here's the real kicker of that. You back it up to a year ago, and then you take that a $300,000 house a year ago is probably worth $360,000, up 20%, especially in some Florida markets, right? So what do? You have to downgrade from a $300,000. Well, really, you have to downgrade from a $360,000 house today to a $300,000 house today, and you're still paying $1,634, which is $350 more on those types of interest rates. Pretty remarkable. Jumping around to some of the other headlines that hit me today. Layoffs are in the works. PwC survey. More than half are freezing hiring. Others rescinding offers. I mean, we know this market got a little bit ahead of itself, but seems like companies becoming increasingly more prepared for the possibility, at least, of a slowdown by making sure that their costs are in check. PwC polled more than 700 U.S. executives and board members across a range of industries. Half of them, 52%, have implemented hiring freezes, and more than 4 in 10 are rescinding offers already out. A similar amount are reducing or eliminating the sign-on bonuses. That's a tough one when you think about inflation is still rocking, man. But guess what? That's what's going to bring down inflation, okay? If everybody's getting huge signing bonuses because there's 10 or 11 million jobs open, that's going to cause inflation. Unfortunately, you have to ease that. Maybe that would play enough. Firms are pursuing a range of workforce strategies, including layoffs. The numbers, respondents who have done so or plan to, is the answer here. Expanding permanent remote work options, 70% permanent. That's interesting on that one, right? Increasing competition, about 2/3. Labor shortages, changing processes. Not sure that's going to cut the case, man. You're going to have to pay more. Nonetheless, over half there thinking about shrinking in some fashion. Yeah, we got a little bit of a deterioration here on options expiration Friday. I mean, check out this move right from 9:30, man. Checking out, let's put it back on a minute to see the real action right out of the gate, because it's all been negative, man. We got a lift for 1 minute up to 13,420, and since then the NASDAQ 100 is off an additional 40 points. S&P's got a little bit more lift than that. That run didn't start until about 9:37. You trade from 42.62, we're down about 15 points in the S&P. So we come into it in negative action, and you're drifting lower. We're only about 20 minutes into the trading day. Jumping around to crypto. Bitcoin, right near the lows of 21,000. Ethereum coming up on their merge at 183 in the negative territory, and crude sitting right at about $90. Gold down $5. As we mentioned, you got some dollar strength in a big way today. You have rising yields in a big way. And when you have that, folks, and you have the action in the end, gold contract down about $5, $17.65. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back. We got one more segment. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks, and we got a little bit of a deterioration in this market right now. Look at that drop-off we just got, man. S&P is your negative 45 now. That's more than a full percent. NASDAQ 100 off 1.6%. The Dow off about 0.7, and the Russell, how about it, off 1.8%. All the stocks trading lower. Amazon off more than 2% right now. You jump over Microsoft shares off more than 1% right now. Let's see how Apple's faring this morning. Off about 0.8. Apple's always beating the market, it seems like, right now. As in, you're off 0.8%, but the S&Ps are off 1.1 or 1.2%. Apple outperforming the market would be the way to say it. You jump over to Bed Bath & Beyond. The carnage continues. You're under 11 now. You're off 42.5% on that equity. Yeah, it's going to be a wild day, folks. We're only 25 minutes in the trading day. It is options expiration, and we'll finish it up with a little bit of mortgage. This article I was reading from Bloomberg early this morning as well. Mortgage lenders starting to go broke after the crisis. Banks account for less of the mortgage business. Independent mortgage lenders are seeing their credit lines cut. It would make sense, right? And it's not going to be some crazy bust like it was in 2008. In 2004, only about a third of the top 20 lenders for refinancings were independent firms. Last year, 2/3 of the top 20 were non-bank lenders, which analyzes the industry. Since 2016, banks have seen their share of the market shrink to about a third from about half. So banks doing less lending. And when you're talking about home loan application volume, that's the mortgage market. You see a slump, man. Now, we had talked about it before. You want a bellwether of that, man? You check out Rocket. All right, Rocket, you're off 5% today. We get some rising yields. And, yeah, I wouldn't be touching this thing either, man. I talked about it when they were in public. Dan Gilbert, folks, he didn't need any capital. All right, there was no way. If you went on Shark Tank and you were this company, they'd say, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with the capital if I give it to you? He said, well, I'm going to put it in my pocket because I like the valuation that you're going to give me. That's literally what happened, right? He said, we're at peak refinance market. I'm going to push ownership out to the public and take that money that you give me and put it in my pocket because the company doesn't need to expand. We're already on full cylinders. Rocket at $10 right now off of 627, but trading lower today. Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be an interesting one. We got the S&Ps down 48. Thanks for starting your Friday off with me. We got Basil up next. Have a great Friday, buddy.